We're learning more about last night's deadly officer-involved shooting in Bokchito. KXI 12's Mia Medellin spoke with police and neighbors today.
And then my kids come rolling in and saying to go in the house because there's gunshots going off and cops flooding down by the cemetery.
Gunfire erupted in this normally quiet Bokchito neighborhood just before 7 Monday night, leaving a local man dead. Bokchito police say officers were contacting an adult man with outstanding arrest warrants. When the man confronted them, the department says an officer-involved shooting occurred. Police did not clarify if the man flashed or fired a weapon. No officers were hurt.
The suspect did succumb to his injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene.
Neighbors identified the man as 46-year-old Teddy Kelsey, who lived on Ballpark Road, close to where the shooting happened.
Yeah, he just walked down the road all the time carrying his little red speaker box. Never said anything, never hurt nobody, nothing.
Choctaw tribal court records show Kelsey was charged with a misdemeanor last July for allegedly shining a laser at a tribal police unit. A year earlier, Bokchito police detained Kelsey on an outstanding warrant. An affidavit states he resisted, splashed an officer with what he called holy water, and was taken to the Bryan County Jail. In his final Facebook post on April 5th, Kelsey stated he would not show up for court. Gould says his office is committed to transparency and that the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, and his department are all investigating.
The involved officer has been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of this investigation, and that is standard procedure following an incident like this.
I have been here my whole life and never seen it firsthand, but definitely hearing it and then hearing what happened was definitely different.
In Bokchito, Mia Medellin, KXI 12.